squad. So if you didn't get in it, you're going to want to get in. If you entered a mystery score, you must be present to collect. We will draw the number as soon as your squad has completed. If you have the winning score,
it's Ed making his final announcements here, getting everyone getting ready to turn the lights on here for our 20th and final qualifying squad. Just a reminder to everybody, we do have 3 games across 3 different pairs. Looks like they're going all the way down to 48. So again, it's another very complete, very full squad, and everyone's trying to get their last chance in to qualify. So a lot of pressure on the line here. Everyone's vying for their share of $20,000 up top. And as he had announced before, we've got $20,000 for first, $10,000 for second, $7,500 for third, $6,000 for fourth, and $5,000 to fifth. So if you win your division, you're guaranteed a minimum of $5,000, and you still have an opportunity in that one-game finale, the one-game sprint at the end, you get a chance for your share for the $20,000 top prize. So it's going to be a good time. They're only a few hours away from that. Probably be 6 o'clock, somewhere around that time will be that final match. And so really not too far away, but this is our final qualifying squad.
Absolutely, and we've been talking about this great tournament organization, the True Amateur Tournaments, and Brad Edelman and his crew. We've also been talking U.S. Open today, Steve, and I told you we were going to have somebody join us, and I believe I've got somebody lined up here in just a moment, so I'll be right back with you.
Greg Shields comes out of the gates there with the quick strike on 19. We'll kind of shoot around back and forth and see if we can catch some different pairs and maybe a few notable names and kind of get you an idea on how the lanes are playing and who's going to be bowling here on some of our featured pairs. We got some cameras set up on, so kind of keep an eye here. One gentleman on 17 and 18 here is coming up on lane 17. He actually shot 300 the other night. He used a Marvel Pearl, shot 300. He had his storm patch on, and he earned an additional $300 bonus for having both the Storm logo on his shirt and using a Storm bowling ball in qualifying. So he shot 300 and comes up a little light in his first frame here, leaves the bucket. But you can see from his game, he's got a good swing, good fundamentals, gets it off his hand pretty clean, and not surprising at all that he did shoot 300 there. That's pretty solid. Shot on 16 there from the southpaw. 10 in the pit. Looks to me so far that I'm seeing a lot of the bowlers on the left side of the lane are playing a little bit more to the outside, and the right-handers are starting to migrate a little bit more towards the middle of the lane. That's the way it's looking right now. Switch over to 23 and 4. And Mr. Best goes and shoots at that 2-8-10. Tries to bounce him around a little bit there, catches a 2-pin, but not quite enough of it to shoot it over. Looks like Harry Mickelson's coming up on lane 24 here in the red shirt.
Mike Flanagan back here with you. And Steve, we were talking U.S. Open just a little while ago, and Louis made his picks for the U.S. Open. And Louis is a huge Pete Weber fan, as most of us are. And, of course, Louis, predicted that Pete Weber would make the show amongst many others. You've made your picks.
I have.
I've made my picks for the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd just, have some fun. This is our 20th qualifying squad now here. So we thought we would test the mixing board a little bit and test Verizon Wireless.
Ooh.
And we're going to go out to the Storm fan line now, where we have a special guest standing by. And joining us now on the Storm fan line is Deandra Asbeatty. Hi, Deandra.
Hi. I'm happy to be on the fan line because I'm a big fan.
You are a big fan of Storm bowling products, and Deandra Asbeatty joins us now. What are you doing on this beautiful Saturday afternoon.
Well, I will have you know that I had to put off my niece's birthday shopping spree that I'm about to give her to call in. So you know where you rank and how important you are. She's probably not that happy, but I'm happy to be on. I'm in Virginia and spending some time with my sister and her family. I'm leaving today to go back home, and I'm about to take my niece for a birthday shopping spree. That's a cool aunt, right?
Yeah, actually, birthday is the theme of today. Steve Klimpkin's birthday is today. Coach K here.
Happy birthday!
Yeah, thanks, Deandra. Appreciate that.
What are you, like 28? 28?
Oh, I wish I was. I've already let the cat out of the bag, though. I already announced to the entire world I'm the big 4-3 today.
43 today.
Yeah.
Steve Klimpkin,
Wow.
Coach K. Deandra, we played a couple of birthday songs up here in the booth. We played the Happy Feet Penguin birthday song. Have you seen that one before?
I don't think I have.
Well, you definitely need to go check that one out. It was quite a hoot. So we are making our U.S. Open predictions in the guys' side of things coming up here in just a few weeks. And we were wondering what 5 gentlemen you think might make the broadcast.
Ooh. Well, I'm going to have to say, because he'd probably kill me if I didn't, Jason Beaumonte.
Okay, Belmo is on the broadcast. He is going to make the TV show at the U.S. Open, says Deandra Asbeatty. You have 4 more to go.
Especially because I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna help him as much as I can, as well as all the other great Storm reps that are gonna be out there. So, it's gonna be hard for him to lose.
Good point.
That's a good one.
And my second pick is Pete Weber, because he's amazing, and he always does it, and he's still got it, and he'll for sure probably be on the show.
Okay, Pete Weber, all right. Belmo and Pete Weber are both going to make the broadcast, according to Deandra Asbeatty, Storm staffer, joining us here on our Storm hotline.
My third pick is Bill O'Neill.
Bill
Because
O'Neill.
I think Bill's due. He, he's been bowling well. He's working on his game. He's good on flat patterns, and I feel like he's going to have a really strong showing.
And Bill has won the U.S. Open once already, hasn't he, in his career, if I remember correctly?
Yes, he has. Yep.
U.S. Open champion Bill O'Neill. Okay, we got 2 more roster spots here. Are you gonna pick from the grass, or are you gonna pick from the diamond collection?
Well, I'm going to say that the 4th person to make the show is another Storm staffer. I'm having a good feeling of Mike Fagan, because he just got off his honeymoon. He's really relaxed. He's got nothing to lose. He's loving life. He just got married. He's going to make the show.
The king of swing with a loose swing right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
What's that?
Yep, the king of swing's got a loose swing.
Yep, king of swing, loose swing,
Yeah.
Coach K says, yes.
Yeah, totally. And my last pick is going to be for the sleeper international bowler that nobody expected.
Okay, sleeper international bowler, I like it. Who is it?
Well, that's what is a sleeper. We don't know.
Oh,
it's somebody
okay.
that you don't expect.
But from outside of the U.S., from Asia or Europe or South America, somewhere outside of the U.S.
The underdog.
The underdog, the sleeper.
I like that.
International sleeper. Okay, we've got it. We've got our picks.
Now, Deandra Asbeatty continuing to join us here on this Saturday afternoon. We're here in Las Vegas, Nevada at the 2013 True Amateur Tournament. It's the Summer Classic, our last qualifying squad before we give away $20,000 here in just a little bit. Deandra, let's take a look at the women's side of things at the U.S. Open with the events being combined this year. Are you ready for the U.S. Open?
Yeah, of course I'm ready. We only have 2 majors a year, so I have to be ready. We don't have that many chances like the guys do, and I'm grateful that we do still have a U.S. Open. I'm really looking forward to competing, and it's really cool that we get to compete alongside the guys. And in fact, Jason and I have already talked about it. I told him it's going to be embarrassing for him when I beat him on live TV again for the extra $10,000, and he said that I was dreaming, but we'll see.
I like the confidence. I like it. So is there anybody, if you make the broadcast or when you make the finals and you're on TV, is there anybody that you are afraid of or somebody you do not want to face?
There isn't, because I'm my own worst enemy. I mean, the only nemesis I have is myself, and if I get in my own way, then there's nobody worse than me to beat. But I've been pretty good at getting myself out of the way and allowing myself to just be and enjoy what I feel and to be free, just like I was on the Queen show last year. And, I want to bowl the best bowler of the tournament, and I want to beat them, and I want to bowl the best. I want to bowl the best bowler, in the world, because I feel like that says a lot. When you can beat the best, then you're among the best. So I'm just looking forward to competing, and it's going to be a really tough field. I mean, there's some really great bowlers that have won the title, that really want to win the title, and I'm right there with them. So I'll be ready.
Well, we know you're going to be ready, and who else is going to be ready are probably a couple of new friends that you've just recently met, called the Marvel S and the High Road Pearl. What are you thinking about these two little friends that are going to be joining you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm really excited about all the new stuff that Storm's coming out with, and I just don't think there's a better ball company out there right now that's making just different balls. There's a lot of balls being put out into the market, but I really feel like Storm has such a great handle of the diverse nature of all their balls and really offering something completely different from one ball to the other. So it really has developed an awesome arsenal, and you're not, all your balls aren't doing the same thing, and you have to try to figure out a way to drill them differently so that they do something differently. I just feel so lucky to be on this staff and to have people like Steve Tompkin and Hank Boomerstein, and Chris Schlemmer helping me lay out the balls so that they're best for me. And, I'm very, very, very grateful. And, I ball in my hand, and I really, truly feel like I can't lose.
Well, that's great to hear, Dee. Obviously, we love having you part of the staff. I'm happy to be part of Team Storm now as well. Tell the folks at home, you're involved in a few other things out there that takes up a lot of your time giving back to bowling. Could you let some people know about your EYT and your IAB you got going on and what's going on with those two things?
Yeah, I'd love to. A couple years ago, did my both levels of started International Art of Bowling. So it really started as clinics. We traveled all around the nation and some international, and we conducted the bowlers boot camps, which were awesome, and they're continuing to grow. But even among that, I feel like International Art of Bowling has become everything bowling. And if you go to our website, iabowling.com, we have a lot of fun articles. We have a lot of educational articles. We have great videos. And now we have a membership called The Circle that has been around for about 7 months. And we're really honing in on those bowlers that really want to get better. And we're offering them training plans so they know how to practice. And we're offering them a chance to be touched by us pretty much 24/7. Jason, Ron, and I spend a lot of time in the circle answering their questions, giving them quick feedback on videos that they're posting. And it's just such a cool opportunity for me to continue coaching. I've had so many amazing coaches in my life from all over the world. And for me now to be able to pass on that knowledge to others is really pretty cool. And then the Elite Four, Jason and I started this a year ago. And it's a scholarship tournament for youth bowlers. We have 4 different divisions, the under 20 and the under 15, boys and girls. And that's just really growing super fast, too. And I'm so excited that we have great sponsors like Storm that support us. We have, sponsors in Turbo. We have a bowling fan and a youth bowling fan out of Delaware who's the main financial backer of our tour. And because of these sponsors, were able to guarantee $1,000 on top if the divisions have 30 or more. And I also love the opportunity to be able to give back to youth bowling because youth bowling gave so much to me. And I still get choked up at these tournaments when I see winners for the first time and they're to get their banner flags up. And when I'm addressing all the parents, because I remember being the kids anxious to bowl and, you know, being there with my parents who never knew how to coach, you know, like no matter what they told me, it wasn't going to be right. And now I can see that happening with other kids and parents. And they don't really realize how lucky they are to have such supportive parents. And I always make an effort to thank the parents for bringing the kids out and make sure that the kids know how lucky that they are. But it really touches my heart to be able to offer these awesome opportunities to youth bowlers, and it's just growing. You know, we're starting in the Midwest. We had one in Las Vegas. Our next one is August in Minnesota. And, you know, I just feel like it's going to continue to grow exponentially, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Well, we're happy you guys started that, and most recently, switching gears again here, I saw you at the Boot Hill. We spent some time together, got to see John again, and, of course, meet Madden for the first time, and Madden was able to spend a little time in our booth with us.
That was awesome. I'm so glad that we have that on video. I can always show him that was his first real interview, actually, and I was really loved it. He can't wait to do it again, so he wants to know when he can be in your booth again.
Well, I'm so hungry right now. I could use one of those grilled cheese, as he said. I need a grilled cheese right now. Well,
yeah, I think that was really fun. Well, thanks for what you're doing for bowling, too. I think, you know, obviously Storm is so lucky to have landed you, but bowling in general is lucky to have people like you live streaming their events and showing the world what's going on. You know, because if you weren't out there doing that, then it would just, you know, it would just be word of mouth. You know, people wouldn't be able to watch it, and that's just really cool. So thanks for everything you're doing for our sport.
Well, hey, thank you for joining us here. I appreciate the kind words, but we're going to get back to the action here. Deandra, thanks for taking some time out with us here on your Saturday afternoon. We know you're busy trying to do some shopping, and good luck at the U.S. Open, Deandra.
Thank you. Thanks, you guys. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, that's Deandra Asbeatty joining us out on the road, doing a little birthday shopping. Thanks so much, and always fun to get great guests on the line, Steve.
Apparently that's the theme of the day, right? Birthdays.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a birthday day.
It's a birthday fest.
I'm glad that worked. I haven't tried that in a long time.
That was nice. That was cool to get somebody like her to be able to call in. You know, she's a international Hall of Famer, International World Bowling Hall of Fame member, Team USA countless years, I think double digits, and to also be a world champion in her own right, and then also really cool that she's given back to the sport. You know, that's one of the nice things. I think that's something that's important that we all do if we're in the position to support bowling, especially support youth bowling and up-and-coming bowlers, that we all have an obligation to do so, because I think the sport's given us all a lot, those of us who have been in it our whole lives, and it's if you're able to give back, you should.
So continuing coverage here, 2013 True Amateur Tournament Summer Classic. This is the last qualifying squad, and then we're going to get ready for the finals here. They'll be coming up here in about an hour or so, and the finals are going to be outstanding. We're looking forward to it. Louis will join us on the broadcast. He'll be back with us, Steve and I, and hopefully Matt Turk will be joining us too if he can make it over.
Yeah, old Matt, that was cool having him in the booth yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's a veteran, man. I tell you what, he came in here and he owned this place.
Yeah, he starts throwing away pieces of paper that don't need to be there, and
Oh,
he's
man.
mixing everything up and getting it all cleaned up.
And
Yeah.
he knew transitions and cameras and this angle and that. And I mean, you could tell he was a pro. He knew what he was doing.
Yep, he's a good guy. He's an asset to our team, for sure.
There are definitely some of the players out here matching up, kind of figuring out what they're doing. Greg Shields, for example, he's on 19 and 20. You've probably been able to see him off on the right side a little bit there. He's got an orange shirt on, but he's got strike spare, triple right now through 7 frames. He's lined up really nicely with the Defiant Soul, getting off his hand good, and looks like he's trying to play a little bit more arc They're not throwing it real firm. He's kind of arcing it off of his hand, getting a little bit arc on the lane, and that ball's coming back pretty strong off the friction and hooking back nicely. So looks like he's got a nice look there. And as we're kind of scrolling around here, see if we can catch some other people and some other scores. Let's see. Gentleman up on 23 and 4. See if we can scoot over there real quickly here. Left-hander up here on 24. C Bowler's got spare 4-bagger spare. One of our southpaws here. Let's take a quick look, see how he's playing them. Just right up around the second arrow. Pretty good roll, pretty firm and straight, and nice 10 in the pitch shot right there. So he's got 260 left there. So he's lined up and feeling pretty good.
Little bonus coverage, ask and you shall receive, Coach K.
Oh, nicely done, sir. Nicely
19
done.
and 20, Greg Shields.
Greg Shields, there he is.
And I can't remember the gentleman's name just off to the side. That was my pick the other night in the Storm Challenge. Really like the way the guy throws the ball right here.
Tim McAuliffe.
Yeah,
I believe, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but that's his. That's him, and you're right. He does roll the ball very nicely.
I'll tell you what I wish Brad would do for me. It'd be great if he could take a picture of every bowler in this tournament and make me some flashcards that I can work on and practice before I come back to the next TAT event.
Yeah.
That way I would know all the bowlers.
That would be cool. You know where they do that, and they actually post it on the websites that I've seen, a lot of the European Tour events. Oh, did you see that?
I did.
The ring 10 with the messenger that came across and just missed it.
Fell into the pit.
Oh, you couldn't have thrown a better shot. That's just a bad break right there. Now that's the thing too with bowling. You know, he's 4 for 4 as far as strikes on the left lane. On the right lane, he's 1 for 4. Trying to get both lanes figured out, even with a little bit of practice, sometimes can be tough because they don't always play the same. You know, we talked about that a little bit the other day. We were talking about how the way the different sections of the bowling center play differently, and especially at some of those centers where you have topography issues. I think a lot of centers, especially if they've been around for a while, you're going to see a little bit more settling of the ground in certain areas, and maybe there's a little bit more moisture that causes swelling in other areas. And before you know it, you've got different parts, and all of a sudden this lane plays tight, this lane plays a little bit more hooking, and certain centers of the house play much more, much deeper than others, and maybe a little bit more towards the outside in other parts. And it's all due to, not just the different way that the lanes break down based off of the different players, but even when they start out fresh, there's a lot of difference from lane to lane and pair to pair.
Those are great points you make there, Coach K. Coach K, this week has been a long week. You get to make the drive back to Utah later today. Is that when you're going to go?
Could be. If I'm feeling good, I'm gonna shoot on back late tonight and see how far I can get. If not, it'll be early in the morning and get on the road, and looking forward to getting back to Utah.
You got to get me the number of that house.
I will. Yeah, we got to get you set up here. We got to get
know.
You.
It's getting bad.
It's getting close. You need to get something secured before you actually, I
need to get something secured before I go to the Proprietors Cup.
Roll into town, and you've got.
Oh yeah.
You've got the whole crew there, and you're okay. Where do we drive to? Where do we park?
Yes.
What are we doing?
I've got 13 legs besides mine that I have to make sure have a place to stand.
Yes.
And you may ask, well, 13? Why is it an odd number? It's because old Muffin, my oldest beagle, is one leg down. Well, 3 legs down, but 1 leg gone. But she's doing well. She's doing really well.
That's good to hear. Well, we've got old Zero back home. He'd be more than happy to play with
Muffin
any and all of your dogs.
Belle
yes.
and
3 legs or 4.
Mimi.
It's all good.
Yeah, I've actually got some really good pictures of old Zero.
He's good in front of the camera. Old Zero, he doesn't mind. He's not camera shy at all, is he?
No, he's not at all. As a matter of fact, It was almost like he was saying, "Get over here. Take my picture. I want you to take my picture right now." And that kind of a voice, actually.
He's kind of, yeah, when you're a 118-pound Rottweiler, you kind of have that. That's how I envision, at least. Based off of how he sounds when he barks, that's exactly how he would sound if he was speaking. Looks like, Mike, unfortunately, we get that bonus coverage there on 19 and 20, and it was the might have been the kiss of death there for Mr. Shields. It's the ring 10 and then the 2-8-10. Unfortunately, that was a bummer. Hate to do that to Greg, such a nice guy, and hopefully he can strike out. He still has 214 left, which is not a bad start whatsoever. 214. If he can get out of here with 2-10, move on to the next few pairs. Cliff Connors yesterday started with 2-0. He was on camera at first and proceeded to go 260, 240 after that. He came down and made a point of that, saying he was apparently a little camera shy yesterday, and once he got away from the pairs where he was actually on screen and on part of our live stream broadcast, that he was he kind of got in a little bit more of a groove there and started striking, and fortunate enough to make the cut. So good job to Cliff, and we'll definitely wish the same to Greg. All right, nice 4-bagger there, hand bone on lane 20. It's on camera right now, so he's got 240. Gentleman has 244 left here with if he strikes in the 11th and 12th. All right, he walks back, puts just a little dab of easy slide there on his thumb, and back up at the ball return there to get ready to throw a shot in the 11th. So. Got his earphones in too, you might notice there. You see the cord hanging off the back of his shirt into his pocket, so I think he's listening to some tunes. Ooh, another nice shot. It's his 5th strike there. He's got 244 left with a strike on his fill, and he's going to love that start. Got a question here from Mr. Big Shot in the chat. He's asking us, says, are there any other bowlers with averages over 205, or is 205 the cutoff to bowl in the tournament? Answer is there is a 205 and under division. So in order to be in that division, your average has to be 205 or under. But there are bowlers here with averages above that. It's just based off of age breakdown. So there are going to be a number of bowlers here with averages much higher than that. It just depends on what your age is and what division you're going to be in. But it is broken down by average. It's also broken down by age. So we got 5 different divisions here for the TAT, and the winner of each division is ultimately going to be bowling tonight in our top 5 one-game final match. It's going to be on 13 and 14. We're going to live stream it for you. You're going to see every shot tonight. We're going to get a lot of good coverage, multiple angles, and a lot of interviews, a lot of good stuff going on. It's going to be very interactive. I think you're going to like that tonight. And they're going to be vying for $20,000 for first.
Yes, they are.
You win your division, you're guaranteed $5,000 minimum.
And we were talking about him earlier, but we've got a very special guest checking in, wanting to give you a happy birthday shout out, Steve. And it's your dog Zero.
Oh.
Coming in right now. Just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. That's Steve and Marsh's dog. Thanks, Zero. Buddy. It was one of the pictures I took of him. Good looking dog right there.
He's got some sleepy eyes, though. You can tell that was a long night for him. We had, 25, 30 people over.
Yeah, he did.
And he was busy entertaining everybody.
So there you go, buddy. Anything we can do to make you feel more comfortable, Coach K.
Oh, you're doing it right now.
We're going to do it.
You are doing it.
We're hitting home runs, warm and fuzzies up here.
Yes, we are. Pretty soon you're going to bust out the back massage or something, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is, talk about getting, this is like a day at the spa.
Yeah, I watched Oprah.
Singing to me. You got all these pictures of my dog. I mean, this is great.
I used to watch Oprah like all the time, religiously. And I used to watch her interviews with everybody and all the things that she did for people. And whether you like her or don't like her, it was an entertaining show for sure. And I always said I always wanted to have one of, sit-down interviews. Like one of the things I want to do, I want to get good enough at broadcasting and good enough at interviews that I can actually sit down and do an hour-long behind-the-actor studio, but with bowlers.
That would be cool. You going to make that happen or what?
I don't know. But you really got to have a nice setting and a nice subdued setting, and really like to sit down and go through people's careers. And of course, my ultimate interview would be Pete Weber. And the goal of those interviewers and those things is to make the interviewee cry.
That's the goal.
Really. Well, it's really a goal because it means that you were able to touch on the correct topics.
Okay.
And really, my goal would be to make them cry twice. Cry over difficult things that have happened over the course of your career and over life. And then cry about some of the happy times as well.
In that order.
Yes.
In that order.
Always end on a positive note.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But, for instance, I believe a great sit-down interview with Pete Weber would be an incredible interview, just going from looking up to his brothers growing up and how school went for him and all the pressure of living up to his dad. And
a lot of pressure.
His dad passing away, dealing with some of the substance problems that he's had over his career, all the way up until now at age 50, bowling better than he ever has. And
what an amazing story right there.
Oh, that's the interview.
Man.
I'd have to warm up with guys like you and Louie first before I could take on that Pete Weber interview.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. It's one of the goals on the list, but it's not very high on the goal list.
All right, as our players are moving pairs here, looks like they've got game one completed pretty much across the house. Starting to see some of our players come down to our TV pairs here and get set up on 11 and 12. You can see here on the right lane, that's Doug Yoakum. And he was one of our 4 finalists in the Storm Challenge. Came right down to the wire here and walked away with $1,000 there. He was using that original IQ. We were watching that a few nights ago, and he's here on 11 and 12 bowling.
Hey, and just to add to those really good interviews too, what makes it an interview even better is if you, as the person that's doing the interviewing, get touched so much by the story that you start crying.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Some of those stories like that, too, they got to get some tears going in your eyes, right?
We hope you're having fun, because we are here.
It was nice. Got a happy birthday wish from Coach V, Coach Vatican. So,
oh, really?
As Mr. Flanagan can see right here, Coach V, that's kind of confirms sort of the Coach K. Not trying to steal too much of
has he been watching the broadcast?
I think he might be listening a little bit here, because he actually he just sent me a little update here. Maggie Chris, who was one of the bowlers that I bowled with, just an awesome, call her a friend and a very good human being. She's now contributing each month for bowling scholarships. And also apparently Josh Blanchard has started a new scholarship for both the fall and the spring semesters. So
cool.
We've got 2 more scholarships going, and this is outstanding. The person, Skip Wilson, was a person who started a scholarship of his own where he just gave back to the university. And he's been doing that for 25 or so years, but he was the one who inspired me to give back. And when I started doing it in 2010, I think I was the second. And the last I checked, there were an additional 4 scholarships beyond that. And now it looks like we've got 2 more to add to that. So we may have 9 or 10 different alumnus who are going to be giving back financially providing support in some form of a
That's
scholarship assistance there at Wichita State. So that's really good to hear.
I've got some folks from Wichita State that I competed against from back in the day, from back in my day, which is a little bit sooner than your day, Steve, but not by much. But Wichita State folks I remember are Brian Hatcher, Casey Slaughter, Matt McFadden, Tim Penner,
Good names and good players
Nick
right there.
Vaughn,
Cool people, too.
Bo McVeigh from Kansas City.
Yeah.
I really like Bo.
Yeah, he's a good player, isn't he?
Eric Pollock,
Eric, yes.
married Lisa Stack.
Wife Lisa, yeah.
Yeah.
They had a good trip to Reno this year, actually.
Yeah.
Been in touch and did some nice bowling out there at the Open Championships.
Yep. Eric did bowl well. I did catch that. I keep an eye on what everybody's doing. I do sometimes really get people. I'll walk up to them and just start listing a bunch of stats about them. And they're like, how do you know all this about me? Well, I've paid attention over the years. I love bowling as much as anyone, if not more. I might like bowling more than anyone else on this planet.
If there was a way to measure it, there was a way to
I'm sure you could figure out a way.
plug you into some type of a device and determine your love of bowling level.
My problem is I don't have the best memory in the world.
Seems pretty good to me.
It's not bad, but it could be better. I'm telling you, I'm not one of those guys in school that could read it once and then know it on the test. I had to keep. So anything that you do think I do have a good memory of, it's because I've reviewed the material 15 to 20 times.
Well, you have to do some type of an activity 10,000 times, right, before you can master it. 2,000 times to kind of become proficient at it, and 10,000 to master it. So how many live streams have you done?
That's a really good question. I should probably have kept like a diary or a journal or a logbook. But I can tell you that I've been doing it for, it'll be 3 years and a month. Well, actually, no, it won't. My first live stream was in January of 2011. And it was literally walking around from pair to pair with a laptop, hooked into Ustream at the time, using the camera on that particular laptop, just and using the microphone that's built in on a laptop. Doug Lakey and I were bowling a doubles tournament, and we walked around with it from pair to pair and talked about what we were doing while we were bowling.
Oh, yeah.
And we had like 50 people watching us bowl. And we were paired up with Rich Orff and Mike Miniman. They were on our pair as well at the Holiday Doubles Tournament in St. Louis.
So your memory's pretty good here, Mike.
Well, if it's something I've done, yeah. I can usually remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You didn't start with this kind of a elaborate setup.
No, I met Brian Burkhart, and all of you that are watching need to just send Brian Burkhart money. If every bowler on the planet gave Brian Burkhart $1, the broadcast that we could come up with, I say we, he could come up with, and I could come up and butcher like I do. Just kidding, but you know, it would be unbelievable. Everybody's been so nice along the way, though, Steve. I will say people have, you know, all along. I did a bowling show for a while with Doug Lakey where we would interview people on a weekly basis. And when we reached out to the PBA to get cell phone numbers and stuff of champions that had won that week, you know, they were Bill Vint, Tom Clark, Jeff Reese, Dave Schroeder, and Jerry Schneider. Those guys have just been so good to me. So good to me. along with Jason Thomas, the bowling guy. You know, those guys are great. And then when I'd call the pro athlete and tell them who I was, InsideBowling.com, sure, I'll do an interview with you tonight, not a problem. And our interviews, when we were doing these, Steve, they were not like one and done, 10-minute quick hitters.
Yeah.
These were like, we got this guy on the phone. We need a half hour. We talked about everything.
Did you?
We had Pete Weber in studio. We talked about wrestling for 35 minutes with him.
He's into it. I know that. I remember that was his thing when he won the PBA National Championship in '98, right? And he got on his knees.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did the diamond cutter.
The diamond cutter. Yeah. And I don't know my wrestling, so I'm not going to start throwing out a bunch of terms.
Diamond Dallas Page, he
I
would
don't
do
know,
that
but-
when he was going to do his move.
Yeah.
The diamond cutter.
But the PDW crotch chop, that emerged, right, from some wrestling move. The crotch
I
chop,
believe it was
I think
Triple H.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a chopper, the original
I
chopper.
think it was Triple H. D-Generation X was in wrestling, yeah. So, I mean, I'm not a huge wrestling guy either, really, but I do like me some wrestling once in a while.
Yeah.
The pay-per-views. See, now this is something I'd like to do, actually. I get moved out to Utah. Kim and I and the dogs.
Yep.
We get
13 legs of you.
13 legs
Yeah.
plus me, so it's
Yeah,
15 total.
legs. Look at you.
And we get out there. You know, I've got a projector. I've got a theater screen. I got surround sound ×2. I got a couple of those. Got flat screens the whole 9 yards, and I got an inflatable screen that goes out in the yard even. Wouldn't it be fun to have over, 20 people or so and barbecue and get one of these wrestling pay-per-view events
Ooh.
and run a propositions betting pool to where who's going to win this match, and you have to pick who's going to win the matches and whatnot.
Over under on
How many
Time
times?
and-
How many times? Yeah, time in the
Yeah,
matches.
time of the yeah.
How many times is Hulk Hogan going to be mentioned on the broadcast?
Yeah.
Over or under
like-
3.5?
I like it. Are you going to fly Pete in for this?
I would fly Pete in
fly
for it.
Pete
Sure.
in. Yeah.
If Pete comes, though, we're live streaming it from the backyard,
Yeah.
and Pete will be the main commentator.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta have them do that. That's a given.
But I would really like to do that. I'd like to watch the Oscars outside, maybe in your backyard. We come over to your house for the Oscars. We go over to somebody else's house for like the Dexter finale. I don't know if you watch Dexter.
Oh yeah, Dexter. Yes, Dexter's a good one.
We could all dress up in white aprons with blood all over them.
Just started back up too.
They did,
Just,
yeah. Last week.
Last week was
Tomorrow night will be the new
final,
episode.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yep. So I'll have to catch up on that before I get home. Watch last week's, get caught up, and then watch tomorrow night live.
Yep.
That'll be good stuff.
Showtime and HBO's really got it going on. I like what they do. They replay the episodes and everything else.
Yeah, there have been some great characters on there on that show, Dexter. I tell you, John Lithgow comes to mind when I think about some very powerful, creepy, and disturbing individuals right there. John Lithgow's character there, and Dexter was season 4 or something like that. It was.
Oh, yeah.
That was awfully good.
That was
Boy, that was.
the Trinity?
Yeah.
Trinity Killer?
Yeah. Pete Fitzgerald on lane 16 there. He's a great player from the Midwest as well, and you know what a lot of people don't know about Pete, and he was a Super Hoinky champion, #1, but he also one day he's a tremendous golfer. He's a scratch golfer as well, and he had a hole-in-one and a perfect game bowling on the same day.
Really?
Had a hole-in-one in the afternoon, went and bowled league that night, and had a perfect game. I don't know how many people have done that.
No.
Yeah, the list has to be pretty short.
Now let me ask you something, Steve. You've taken up the game of golf,
Yes.
and you like to be good at what you do,
Right.
and you've really honed in on this game, right?
I have spent a lot of time on the range and on the course in the last couple of years, and sometimes I feel like I'm kind of getting a feel for it and kind of figuring it out. And other times it's kind of a confusing, difficult to master sport that.
What is your handicap?
I'm about 11, 10, 11. I'm right around there. So,
nice.
Sometimes I'm fortunate enough to play, in the high 70s, low 80s, and then sometimes I hit 90 and above at times. So it's.
Well, I certainly don't like to lie, so I'm not going to. But I would like to challenge you to a miniature golf challenge. Because I can only imagine you're probably pretty good at miniature golf.
Can I bring Wes Pye as my coach? Can I do that?
Yes.
Yeah, because he's a mini golf man.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we're on. Let's do it.
Yep.
I'm ready.
And then the winner of our contest, then I believe, should go out and challenge Chris Barnes to some mini golf, considering he made a TV final.
He did. He made $5,000 in that one time, I remember.
Now, how did a guy like Barnes get into that? Did he go through a qualifier and he made it in, or?
If I remember right, and this was 25 years ago or so, it was a long time ago, that they had different local and regional qualifiers to get you to like a national type of a tournament, yes. And Wes Pye probably knows a little bit more about how that works in terms of the structure for national tournaments and stuff. But I know Chris and Wes both have played some mini golf on TV for money, and
Wes has as well.
Wes has as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, maybe you and I should practice and then challenge those two guys.
Doubles match. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
So we are in game number, is this number 2? Game number 2 of this 3-game qualifying block. And Steve, I'm going to step out for just a second because I'm going to go find out what kind of time we have between now and then as far as food, because I'm going to need some food in my system before this broadcast.
I'm with you.
And if we don't have much time, I might order for us at the snack bar or something and have it ready to go so we can eat immediately after this broadcast. So I'm going to go look into that right now.
Gotcha, that'd be great.
So Steve's going to drive the ship, and I'll be right back. Enjoy some more coverage with Coach K.
All right, we're going to switch cameras here. We're going to go to 17 and 18. We've got a couple good players here that are fortunate enough to be bowling for us right here on one of our TV pairs. You can see here looking at the scores on lane 17 stepping up right here. We've got our D bowler, and he's got a double, spare double, so he's got 260 possible. Stepping up into the 7th, although we are pretty early in the match. Just a little bit high. Seems to be our kiss of death as soon as we move the cameras on them. Whether they know or don't know, I tell you what. We seem to stop the streaks of strikes, so I can tell you that. Maybe we won't be quite as much a black cloud here for our gentleman coming up here on lane 18, who's got started out with a 4-bagger or ham bones, 9 spare, and double. So he's looking real solid, 3-7. Stepping up on 18. Looks like he's playing pretty deep inside here. So maybe the lanes have started to break down and kind of open up a little bit here. May have been able to create a little bit of a track area to throw the ball at, but he's in around 4th arrow. And looks like he got it maybe a little bit up the lane, but yes, the black cloud has struck again. We did kill that double. But he was fortunate enough to break up that split and leave himself with only a 6-10, so he's got a makeable spare there. Mike Albert, you just saw him as one of our finalists there from the Storm Challenge the other night. He was up on lane 19. So the last set he had 500 for his first 2 games, but hit a heck of a pesky pair and shot 170 his last game. So he didn't think he was going to be making the cut, so he's back in here for our final qualifying round. right, easy spare on the 610 there, and as Don Eubanks gets up on lane 17, shooting his 7-pin. Pete Fitzgerald, you see on the left side of your screen there? Ooh, just left the 2-8. Pretty good shot, clean off his hand. Exceptional bowler, like we were talking about before, not only Mega Buck champion, but also a scratch golfer, and tremendous talent to be that good at 2 sports that's pretty good. Love tap on the 10, likes that. Gets back to striking. He's got 154 in the 7th, strike up in the 8th, so he still has 240 left. And see Kurt Gwynn here working on a double on lane 17. Pretty clean off his hand. Looks like he likes it. Maybe looking for a little bit more hook. Leaves kind of a shaker 8, so just a hair light, but pretty good shot. I think he was happy with it off his hand. Surprised it didn't hook back quite as much, so might be a little bit of carry down back part of the lane. Might have to get a little bit softer next time, maybe catch the friction just a little bit earlier. Should be a pretty easy spare for him, and it is. All right, Mike Albert up on lane 20, very right side part of your screen. Trips the 2. And let's shoot over to 23 and 4 real quick here. See if we can catch a shot of Ron Case. Northern California is bowling on lane 23. Looks like he's got 145 in the 7th, strike in the 8th, so he's got 230. And just an awful break. The black cloud again. I should have left it over here on a different pair. See Pete Fitzgerald in 17. I'm sorry, lane 15. Clean shot, shaker 7. So we're starting to see a few carry issues, and just about everybody that's missing is going a little bit on the light side. So 2-4-5 there on 17 from our gentleman who was lined up before. Again, so the front part of the lane might be drying out, the track might be opening up, but the back part of the lane might still be staying fairly tight or getting maybe even a little bit tighter. Let's go down there to 11 and 12 here pretty soon. We'll catch a shot of the gentleman on the right lane. He's been bowling with a huge cast on his left arm, on his opposite arm. Still striking pretty good there, though. He had, I think he's going to have about 2 1/4 this game here. One of our grads from Storm University up on lane 12. Leaves the 5-pin. 153 in the 8th spare. He can still get to 200 with a double in the 10th as long as he makes this spare. And Doug Yoakum up on lane 11. One of our Storm Challenge finalists, looking good. A question here in the chat from Bubba said he's just started to throw 2-hand and gets way too much hook out of the ball. That's one of the things you will see. A lot of the advantages of 2-handed bowling is you are able to create a lot of revolutions, which generally equates to a lot more hook down the lane, especially on the back end. But one of the things that Jason Belmonte and Osku and some of these players who are able to be very successful with the 2-handed game is that they are able to create a lot of speed, which they get with a lot of leg speed and body. They create a lot of energy, and they get to the foul line pretty quickly. A lot of us who do try and bowl 2-handed have a hard time trying to create a lot of ball speed because we just don't have the approach speed. So that would be my recommendation to you, Bubba, is to try and do all you can to get to the foul line as fast as possible to create a lot of speed with your legs, get a lot of momentum that way. That way you're not just trying to use only your arm to throw it, because that is the advantage with 2-handed bowling, is you will get a lot of revolutions on the ball without having the thumb in there. You create a lot of revolutions, but it can be difficult at times to create enough speed to match those revolutions. So if you watch the tempo that Jason Belmonte and Osku Palermo create, you watch that tempo, you'll be able to see that they do have a lot of foot speed. They have a little bit of a skip step in there to create a lot of speed that way, just through not only just the arm, but through the ball speed and momentum they create with their legs and with their approach speed. So that's one recommendation for you.
Have you tried bowling two-handed?
If you're asking Coach K, yes. Coach K has attempted it a couple of different times just back at the plant, and I tell you what, it is my body has a lot of memory. There's a lot of muscle memory in there for one-handed bowling, and the two-handed is not there. But I tell you, Mrs. Klemkin, Marcia K, Mrs. Klemkin is actually very astute at it and is a pretty good two-handed bowler. She can hook a polar ice from edge to edge.
Really?
Yes, she can. She was actually working on that at one point a couple years ago and was amazed at how comfortable it was for her to pick that up. So if you're looking for a Klemkin to start bowling two-handed, look at Marcia K and not Steve K.
Well, it's something I've been wanting to try. I can bowl two-fingered backup and two-fingered pretty well.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I can average about 205 two-fingered backup.
Ooh, that's pretty good right there. My wrist doesn't arm and it doesn't quite rotate back that way that easily. Now I've backup balls or left-handed or two-handed, all those different things. That's not my forte.
What it is it's one of these. I still finish on the left foot.
Uh-huh.
But when I come down, it's just an arm motion.
Uh-huh. Kind of cut through it a little bit and back across and okay. It's looking good. Yeah, it's looking looks like you've been working on that for a while. Out and back. There you go.
Yeah.
A little reverse loop. Get that ball back and then out to the right and cut across it and yeah.
Teaches you bad habits doing that stuff though.
Well,
back to that whole thing I was talking about, how I
can do so many different things.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta kind of hone in on one or two, not seven.
Correct.
A and B game, and not working on your G game.
But when you grew up in a bowling center and you were a bowling center rat and your thumb blows out after bowling 50 games that day, you find other things to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been there. Skin patch was my friend when I was growing up because I was just like you. I was in the bowling center for hours and hours. I loved it.
I used to squeeze quite a bit too.
See, Mr. Gwynn here looks like he finished up with a 203, pretty solid game. Got a 223 on 18. 220 looks like with a 7 count on his fill, but 220 still very respectable, and probably keeps them both in the action here going into the third game. So a lot of times we're seeing, get maybe one game, shoot 2-0, 210, 190, but then you hit them good the other couple games, and that's how they're getting their 680s, 90s, and 700s. You don't have to hit them all three, but you got to hit them pretty good for a couple.
Correct.
See, we'll scoot on over to 23 and 4 here, see what we got happening. Ooh, the big rev rate we've got on 23. That's cool. Wow, and look at that ball just sailed. You can tell he wasn't expecting that. He thought that was pretty good off his hand.
You and I are going to have a chance to go eat with no problem. We're going to be able to, as soon as this broadcast is over, we'll wrap it up quickly, and then we'll go eat, and then we'll come back. Then there's going to be about 90 bowlers are going to take to the lanes, across 70 lanes. One from every pair will be eliminated. And we will get this thing down to 5 finalists. One from the 189 and under handicap division, one from the 205 and under handicap division, one from the under 39 age group, one from the middle age group, and then one from the senior age group. So that's how we're going to get 5.
Okay.
Yeah, 39 and under, 40 to 54, 55 and over, 205 handicap, 189 and under handicap.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to bowl this tournament next year.
It's going to be tough to do. You're going to bowl with a headset?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I'm going to put a lapel mic on.
Okay.
And earpiece.
Okay.
And helmet.
Hit the lanes.
Wireless helmet cam.
Helmet cam. The
and you can
what's
coach
the guy's
me.
name? He's a 31-year-old billionaire now. What's his guy that does GoPro helmet cameras?
I've seen the GoPros.
Yeah.
It's a good product.
We gotta get him in bowling.
Oh,
what do you think? $1 billion?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gotta like bowling. Everyone likes bowling.
You know, I actually looked into some of those GoPro cameras and trying to figure out a way to make them wireless.
Yeah.
But not possible
Yeah?
yet. Yep.
Leisure Suit Louie.
Hey, Louie, were you watching the broadcast earlier with the birthday songs? Did you watch the broadcast with the birthday songs? How crazy was that?
Birthday to me.
Louie is up here singing the song.
Yeah, that was great. That felt good.
That's
what
hilarious.
was that in the Ricky Bobby? He said, "I'm not going to lie. I feel good out there."
That's right.
That's right. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, that's a great scene at the dinner table.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
Yeah, Louie's back. Guess who's back? Louie's back.
All right, and as we always do see, as these players do rotate from pair to pair and lane to lane, we do see them the first couple shots. It takes them usually a few to get lined in. Phil Prieta threw a great shot off his hand the first frame. Left the 4-7-10. The ball went high, couldn't believe it, and made the adjustment in the third here on lane 19 and went high flush. So as we are seeing a lot, as I look across, I see these different scoreboards. I'm seeing that a lot of players are not striking for their first frame or their second frame, but then they make the adjustments, they get it figured out, and then they're off to the races from there. So good.
Now, we just saw the 7-pin get missed hooking at it, and we discussed that the other day as a tip, whether to go straight or hook at it. On a flatter pattern, you should go straight at them.
That's my recommendation. I tell you, I like to go straight at them. And depending on the pattern, you may want to go straight at them up the 6th arrow, or you may want to go straight at them using a lot more boards on the lane. Depends on what you're comfortable doing, but definitely depends on the lane conditions too. And if there's a little bit more friction in the middle of the lane and the outside of the lane is pretty slick, I would recommend going a little closer to 5th or 6th arrow, going up and at them with your spare ball. But if they are crowned more, I would still recommend the spare ball, but I would use a lot more angle, maybe going closer towards maybe the 3rd arrow or so. And they're using a lot more boards on the lane to angle it at the corners. That's been my experience.
That's a good tip. I like it.
All right, as we look over here on 23 and 4, let's see, it looks like she's got a double working here with the IQ Tour Pearl going up the track. Looks a little bit more in the back end than she was hoping, and goes a little bit high. IQ Tour Pearl's been a very popular ball out here this week. I can tell you there's been a lot of them going down the lane, and seems to be a pretty good ball for this pattern as well. There's a lot of people that come up to us and ask, what's the right ball for this condition? What's the right layout? For the earlier squads, I've definitely been recommending a more aggressive, stronger ball. A little bit of texture maybe to get it into a good roll, ample flare. But when the lanes do break down and there's more lineage on these lanes and the players start moving in, you need something that's going to get through the heads easily, still be fairly responsive at the break point and create a little bit of angle coming in at it. And the IQ Tour Pearl is a nice combination of control and hook potential. So it really isn't... it's a versatile ball. It doesn't really lock you into one particular part of the lane or one particular style. You can use it on a variety of lane conditions, and it's been a great ball here this week. Switch back to our middle pair here to 17 and 18. See if gentleman on 17 can back up that strike in the second, make it a double. Looks like he's got a Defiant Soul in his hand. See if he can make those pins dance. Oh.
Now, speaking of roto
that
grip,
danced like I dance.
I know that the
Two left feet.
I
Not
know
like
that
those penguins.
I know that roto grip is not sponsoring this event, but roto grip's been involved with the true amateur tournaments a lot over the years. So I think it's important for us to talk a little bit about these 3 new balls coming out from roto grip. The new Rumble, which is a complement to the Wrecker.
It is. Yep.
New weight block.
Yep. Has a new core design. It's a symmetrical. It's a little bit more stable, not quite as much flare potential as the Wrecker. It's going to be a little bit more predictable. Comes with more surface, has a 2000 grit pad finish on there, and it's one of our medium cover stocks, but it's a solid blend, and it's going to be a ball that you're going to be able to read the mid lane very nicely with, go up the boards a little bit because it doesn't have that higher differential. It's more of a medium differential. 35 diff is what those balls have, and you're gonna see some good performance out of that Rumble. When you're looking to get a little bit more mid lane read, maybe get the ball to slow down, and you're not looking for a lot of angle on the back end.
And then we've got this new Pearlized Disturbed with a cute little name called the old Deranged.
Yeah. And it's very deranged looking, I can tell you that. It's very, very bright, very colorful. With the cover stock change on that and the finish change with that same weight block, that's going to be a very impressive piece for a lot of people. And we're trying to, we do have separation between the Rotogrip line and the Storm line, but for any of you who've ever thrown the Marvel Pearl in the Storm line, it really gave me that kind of a feel out of the deranged. And as we mentioned before, the Marvel Pearl is the winningest ball in the PBA Tour, so I think you're going to see a lot of players that are going to be taking to the new deranged. They're going to be liking that out there for our PBA players.
And then also in the Rotogrip line on the HP1 line 4, HP4. So it's, backwards. Okay. I'm new here, guys. The HP4 line, which is the creme de la creme of the Rotogrip line. The all-new Totally Defiant.
Totally Defiant, that's right.
It's a totally good-looking ball, too.
Oh, it is. It's a totally good hooking ball just as well. It's a big skid flip ball. It's going to get down the lane very easily. The Defiant Soul has been an awesome motion, very super popular ball, creates a lot of hook, mid-lane hook. That has a little bit more texture, though, the Defiant Soul does, and it's a hybrid combo. So this is a highly polished pearl cover stock, and it's an aggressive pearl blend, and it gets down the lane very easily, and it really makes a strong move on the back end. It really turns the corner hard. So you're going to see 3 distinct looks from those 3 different bowling balls, the 3 new Rotogrip releases that are coming out. They're going to be very different from each other, and you're going to find, I guarantee you'll find a place in your arsenal for those 3 new balls.
I'm looking forward to drilling every single one of them.
Now, are you going to want to drill those up first, or did you want to get some putt-putt golf lessons first? What's a bigger priority to you right now, Mike?
Drilling those bowling balls.
Okay. So we'll just worry about miniature golf in our spare time.
Correct.
But our A1 priorities are going to be the 8.5-inch balls.
Correct.
Okay.
Working on another build here for later. So my apologies here as I do a little work.
Oh, you're all good.
A little picture-in-picture here. It's kind of interesting there. You get a look at.
Now we had Leisure Suit Louie here earlier. So is this multitask Mike?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Leisure Suit Louie.
There was a movie. There was a movie that I got a call from Hollywood.
Yeah.
they wanted me to be in this movie, and I had to turn it down because of my live streaming commitments. But they actually wanted me to be in this movie called Magic Mike. They wanted me to have the lead role in that movie.
Because of your physique.
Yeah, they'd seen me dance a couple times.
Uh-huh.
But I had to turn it down.
Did you?
Yeah. So
we're glad you did.
Well, I'm glad I did too,
Yeah.
because quite honestly, I didn't have the time for that, and I really didn't want to make that kind of money.
And Channing Tatum, I heard he's been struggling lately.
Well, he sent me a thank you card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, his checking account's been running a little low. So
Yeah.
that was nice of you.
Yeah, I know.
That's
So,
just the kind of guy you are, though.
try to be. I actually watched that movie.
You did, and you're going to admit to it?
I am.
Are you?
Yep.
I'm surprised you'd do that, but it would take someone who's very comfortable,
Secure.
Very secure with,
Oh, yeah.
Whatever your orientation is.
Here was what I thought. I thought if I could pick up some pointers from that movie, I could apply it to my everyday life moving forward. And so far, so good.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Hey, there's Brian Wallace up on 17. Oh, looks like he's stuck a little bit there. Holy cow. Usually hits the line pretty solid, but, once in a while you get out over and get a little bit in front of yourself. Those feet get going, and it's easy to catch a spot and kind of lose your balance at the line. But on a tournament condition like this, it's hard to get away with an errant shot.
So here's what's so funny, right? Yesterday I come out with this Leisure Suit Louis thing just out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
Totally out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Wasn't planned. I don't even know how it happened. And Brad and you have just been driving this thing home. Louis opened the broadcast this morning with me saying, "All right, I'm King Louis. I'm not Leisure Suit Louis."
King Louis. I like that. We were talking about that last night. We were King Louis.
King Louis.
It's a good brand.
Oh, it is.
We were talking about that Lamode shirts. We were talking about those. Everybody had the thing I liked with Lamode shirts. They had those unique colors, but on tour, like when you saw Tony Westlake or maybe Tom Milton, John Odrobinek, you saw some of these guys on tour, and you'd pick the one major color in the stripe out on your Lamode shirt, and then you had the matching polyester pants. Yeah, that's how it did. And you looked good doing it. Mark McDowell, I think he was on the Lamode staff, and he looked really sharp along the same time frame there.
McDowell's a guy I'd like to have on our staff.
Yeah.
And Shades.
Yeah.
I like those guys a lot.
Yeah, they're good. They're good people. Mark McDowell, actually, I've been in touch with him a little bit over the years.
Yeah, me too.
And, he really made a very generous donation. I don't know if you heard about this or you know about this or not.
No.
Bill Chrisman, his involvement with the International Bowling Hall of Fame down there in Arlington. He's been very involved with that in the museum down there in maintaining the ball technology section and building that and getting that and just trying to get a real good history for some of the important bowling balls in time throughout our sport. So we've got some in there. And I think this is a work in progress. This thing is, believe me, it's not done by any means. But he's been putting together, getting a collection of just what he feels would look like for the importance and the progression of bowling ball technology over time. So if you look back 100 years when everyone was still using, wooden bowling balls, for example.
Sure.
We got to make sure we have one of those there that's just all wood, with just 2 fingers they only used back then. Maybe some of the early rubber bowling balls with either 2 fingers or 3 fingers. Polyester ball, and then a next major breakthrough from there was urethane. 2-piece and 3-piece. And then we got to the reactive era. And the first reactive bowling ball on the market was called the Excalibur. And Mark McDowell
Yes.
Mark McDowell was the first person who had used an Excalibur on TV.
Yeah.
And that was actually at the AC Delco Classic in Los Angeles. And he had an undrilled Excalibur, mint condition, original Excalibur. He had one in his collection, and he donated it to Storm and Bill Christman for us to use in the Hall of Fame in the museum down there in Arlington, Texas. And I think there can't be more than just, half a dozen of them left anywhere. Undrilled, originally made from before the brand was sold to San Antonio when it was actually, the company was out of Los Angeles, but they were poured and made.
What was the name of that? New Tech?
In Utah. New Line.
New Line.
New Line.
New Line.
Yep.
See, that's where my memory goes. I had part of it right. I couldn't remember. New Line.
New Line, yeah. But that was, the AC Delco in January of 1992 came out, and all of a sudden, you saw players using some traditional urethane balls that were going relatively straight, and then all of a sudden there's a guy that pulls up with a pickup truck full of bowling balls.
That's what I heard, yeah.
That hook an extra 22 boards on the back end compared to any balls that we had previous to that. And, that was again another key technological advancement. And Mark McDowell was kind enough to donate that ball to Bill and to the museum.
Yeah, I really like Mark McDowell. I actually took video of those guys at Nationals this year, and I still got to put that video together of Wriggle's group, the 11thframe.com team. There's certain things that happen with growing this Inside Bowling as a company and as a brand. And, monumental things that have happened for us. And we're on the sleeve of the 11thframe.com team now. We've got our logo on the sleeve. I believe, our first telecast that we did with multiple moving cameras at the 2013 Storm InsideBowling.com Open was monumental, and I really believe what happened at Bowl Expo, streaming from that booth, was another huge thing.
You know what I really enjoyed about that, watching the telecast from that live stream there at Bowl Expo, was you were able to pull so many just big names in our sport, and it didn't matter if they were on the, if it was, let's say, like a Pete Treadwell, who's a manager on a membership, side, kind of behind the scenes there at USBC, or if you were able to get, a high-profile bowler or somebody else from a manufacturing perspective. There's all these different integers and all these different people that you were able to draw them in, get their thoughts, and it was, I thought it was great to see all those different points of view in our sport.
Hey, you were back at home office watching, and you and Mike Sargent. I apologize, Mike. That's because everybody calls me Mike Sargent. I've had people call me Mike Sargent like 4 times, so I'm going to start calling him Mark Sargent or Marv Sargent, like the bowler. But Mr. Sargent did a great job answering a lot of the questions in the chat as well as you, so that really enhanced it. Because we didn't have to address as many questions on the air. You guys were all over it.
Yeah, that was kind of cool, and that was something that we learned a lot from too. Is that as you have those conversations going on camera, there's going to be a lot of follow-up questions that people are listening and have say, "Oh yeah, that reminds me of this," and they type their question, and then we had our, as a tech team, we had our people there in house to.
It was almost like a live tech chat.
Yeah.
Along with Bowl Expo.
Yeah, it was. It was really. I think it ended up being a really good thing.
Which, the sky's the limit now with the resources that we have, with me coming in-house. If we ever wanted to have a once-a-month tech chat where we just fire up the equipment and bring it in and talk about some technical things with bowling and have the interactive chat, I'd be more than happy to facilitate being the guy that's monitoring the chat and saying, "Hey guys, we got a question from Bob3675. Bob wants to know, those hairline little fractures that appear to look like cracks There's no cracks going on his bowling ball. Is that something he needs to be worried about?
And exactly.
And the answer is no. You don't have to be worried about those. You just keep bowling, and there's many people that have those little hairline, little stress fractures around there that they could bowl another 1,000 games and nothing's going to happen.
Yep.
Nothing frustrated me more running bowling centers than that person that comes up to the desk that gets a small crack on their bowling ball and wants it replaced right away. The bottom line is you're throwing a ball 15, 20 miles per hour at a piece of metal and at 3-pound wooden objects. Your ball is going to get a little bit of wear and tear on it.
Yeah, it's going to happen. And we do have different types of bowling balls, cover stock materials. And the reactive materials, the ones that give you all that performance and all that friction on the drier parts of the lanes, we all know aren't as durable as the cover stocks, the urethane-based or even the polyester, but really the urethane-based cover stocks like we have on the natural, the supernatural, natural pearl, polar ice. Those cover stocks are much more durable. They don't give you the performance, but if your biggest concern is durability and not having potential for some kind of a cracking like that, then we definitely recommend you drill up one of those balls. We have a Denver Broncos fan here. He's holding that towel up for the camera on lane 18, and he's liking it.
I'm going to tell you a story. I was in
that was fun to see.
I was at USBC's last year, and the football season was 5 months away, and the Broncos had not signed Peyton Manning as of yet, and I put $20 on the Broncos to win the Super Bowl. And if they would have won the Super Bowl, it would have paid $2,400.
That's a nice hit.
They signed Peyton Manning like a month later.
Oh, wow.
And the Broncos had a great season. So I had a lot of interest in the Broncos.
See, now we had some interest in the Broncos in our household. And that was, as you know, my wife went to the University of Florida. And so she was and is rooting for Tim Tebow there as he was taking them through and giving them some wins there at the end of that season. She was following the Broncos pretty closely as well.
Yeah, he actually won a playoff game for the Broncos, and then the next year was replaced.
Yes. Which, if you have Peyton Manning, I think that's pretty understandable, isn't it?
Yeah, I understand it completely, but at the same time, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how Tim Tebow isn't a starting quarterback somewhere in the NFL.
Because I think he was, was he 8-2? I think he was with the Broncos.
And now he can't get a starting job and be given an opportunity for at least half a season to see what he can do. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of Florida Gators fans that feel the same way as you.
Brando from Australia checking in. What's up, Brando? How are you, bud?
Good to have you on, Brando. Cheers to you down there. Long way from Vegas, I know, right now.
Good day, mate. Put another shrimp on the barbie.
I think on a 1 to 10, I think Brando needs to jump on that chat and give you a quick score on that.
Yeah, he does.
1 to 10, Brando. How do you do?
Oh, Lee Bedoris is in the chat. Hey, Lee, how you doing, buddy? Lee Bedoris is our anchor in the booth for the holiday doubles each and every year. Back home in St. Louis. We'll be back for that one again this year. Sold out last year. 4 squads at 24 teams. 24-lane bowling center. Actually, I believe it was 3 squads at 24, and it was a squad of 36, if I remember correctly.
Is that memory again.
Yeah.
You weren't even bowling, you pulled those numbers right out.
Yeah, you're right. By the way, coming up, you don't want to miss it later. Not only are we going to be crowning a $20,000 champion this afternoon, but I am going to be announcing my 1 millionth word on the airwaves.
1 millionth.
1 millionth word on the airwaves.
$1 million.
Yeah, I'm approaching that. I'm very close. I'm exactly 673 away.
Pretty impressive, man. Pretty impressive. I don't know how many people believe you right now, but.
Yes, sir. 671 now. 668.
You keep. The number just keeps dwindling. That's right. As you count down, you're counting down even faster.
Oh, man.
What do we got going here? We got 2:39 left by our A bowler here coming up on lane 11. We'll have to see if we get a fist pump or something out of him with the strike. We'll see if he's got a look. I feel like he has a chance here at something. Again, this is the last game of the last qualifying squad. Got Harry Mickelson down here on lane 10. Well, he didn't like that shot very much. Comes back from the line kind of shaking his head. You feel like he's tried all of his different balls and strategies here. And seems like it's maybe not just his week here, but I can tell you, I was actually at the Showboat in 1988 when he bowled Michael Lickstein for the title for the high roller. Finished runner-up for $100,000. So Harry Mickelson with his Team USA experience and high roller experience here is still a heck of a player and a great career in bowling. Ooh, Lee's on it here with your 1 millionth word there.
Steve, you'd really like Lee. He's a funny guy.
He's got the odds. I like
Lee Vidora says, here's the morning line of Mike's 1 millionth word. Storm is 3 to 5. Inside is 8 to 5. Bowling is 2 to 1. Vegas is 5 to 1. And Cunningham, there's no line for Cunningham.
That's good.
Oh, boy. That is so funny. And we had a question about Dan Limish. Dan Limish goes to Lindenwood University. He's a collegiate first-team All-American.
Oh, yeah.
He's out here bowling. I know Dan real well. He's out here with his buddy Jake Setchell and some of the other folks. And
okay.
Dan led the squad yesterday.
Oh, did he really?
Shot 740 something or other.
Oh, excellent.
He's the daily leader, and he's going to be coming up in the finals tonight. Dan Limish could possibly take home $20,000.
Very nice. So he got to sleep in today. He's already in. He advanced to the finals. He got to relax maybe out by the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Yes, he did.
Let's see, Sal's throwing on some strikes here at the end here on lane 12 right now, southpaw. Hard to know if he has a shot at making it, but he's taking his time.
Our viewers are starting to climb, too, as we get closer and closer to...
Slaps the 7 out. Oh, he's got the wry smile. It's, why didn't I try that earlier?
Closer and closer to our finals, buddy.
Recognize that look.
Ray here checks in, says, hoping my dad makes the cut, just bowled a 170 on 17 and 18.
Mm.
You know what they say about Papa? Papa don't preach.
Mm. Or I love it when you call me Big Papa. That's the other.
Throw your hands in the air.
That's the other.
Like you're a true player.
That's the other Papa.
That is. You're the notorious Coach K. Coach K, can't you see? Sometimes your coaching techniques just hypnotize me.
I just love your PSA.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You can make a ball that smells okay.
Sony, they're going to sign us.
Oh, yeah. Major record deal.
The
Hey,
word's out.
how about this? We could promote bowling. Let's go on the road. Let's try out for all the singing shows.
Oh, yeah.
You and I could
American
get
Idol.
on The Voice.
Yeah, The Voice or American Idol.
Oh, could you imagine that?
The bowling rappers.
Yeah.
Rap Attack.
This is my friend Steve. We met out on the road, and we're gonna audition for American Idol together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on.
Ooh, someone won some cash on roulette here, it says.
Oh, yeah?
Well, casino winner. It's good to hear about some wins down there in the casino now and again, because we've been hearing a lot of there's been a lot of people crying the blues about their gambling.
Got to give a shout out too to JDA 1965. That's Jerry Anderson. He was our tournament director at the 2013 StormInsideBowling.com Open, won by Bill O'Neill in St. Louis.
Heard he did a really nice job.
Yeah, he did.
Ran it very nicely.
He did a great job for us, and
Yep.
he is the latest Storm staffer in St. Louis as well. Sent him some
welcome.
balls and
Welcome.
some shirts, and already shot 300. He hadn't shot 300 this year yet. He shot 300 with, I believe it was a Freakin' Frantic.
Nice.
He's a higher rev player, likes to play the middle of the lane, little softer ball speed.
Okay.
And
Good ball for him then.
Jerry's been around bowling for quite some time. He and his wife, Pam Anderson, as a matter of fact, is her name. Pamela Anderson.
Pamela Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
Lucky guy, married to Pamela
Yeah,
Anderson.
I know he is.
Man. Jealous people here in the
Oh,
TAT.
yeah. I've been trying to get him to see if Pam would give old Jenny McCarthy a call.
Yeah.
To have Jenny McCarthy come by our broadcast booth sometime.
Well, how good would that be?
That was the one, man. That was the one that got me going.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one that got me.
Singled out, right?
Singled
The
out
show
with Chris
Singled Out.
Hardwick.
Chris Hardwick, who I love to listen to on the podcast, The Nerdist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and he
that
likes
kinda
bowling.
fits you. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, it does. I'm okay with
He's
it, though.
a PBA league team owner.
Yeah, that's great. He loves bowling, and it's in his blood, right?
It is in his blood.
Yeah.
And speaking of blood, I need to get some food in my bloodstream. Otherwise, I'm going to pass out during the finals.
I'm with you. And we don't need that.
No, not at all.
We need to be on top of our game for the finals.
Yes.
Yep.
So Coach K,
'Kay.
it's his birthday. Again, happy birthday, Coach K. We'll even one more time. Just yeah, it's his birthday today, Coach K. We played this song earlier today, but that's going to do it for this qualifying portion. Number 20 in the books. Mike Flanagan, Coach K here with you. Steve Klimkin, he is loving his birthday. We're going to have a birthday meal, actually. That's what we're going to do as we hover over the Penguins right now.
How can you not smile looking at that?
Oh,
Really?
I know it. I know.
Come on now.
We'll even remove the graphic.
Look who's in the house. Come here for the dancing.
Oh,
He
Matt
likes it.
Turek made it.
Matt's in.
It's Steve's birthday today, Matt. Come on
Yeah.
up. Have a seat right here. Just sit down.
Yeah.
Say hi
Check
to
out the
Jerry
Penguins.
Anderson and all our
Yeah.
friends. Yeah. Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah, unreal. And great day. And
What's up, buddy?
we got somebody that wants to say happy birthday to you, Steve. Happy birthday, Steve. Steve's dog Zero.
There's my boy. Very sleepy boy.
That's right. That's it right there, guys. Happy birthday, Steve. Happy birthday to Steve again. So, Matt Turek just joins us. Hey, Matt, what's going on?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Good, bud. We're actually getting ready to bug out and grab some food. So
Yeah, I noticed that. I see all the bowling's done. I got here a little bit late, but taxi ride was all right.
Nice. Yeah, we'll get you reimbursed for that.
All right, yeah,
sure.
that's good. That's
we'll
good. That's what I like to hear.
So we're going to go grab some food. We'll be back with the finals here in about an hour. Mike Flanagan, Matt Turek, Coach K, Steve Klimpkin. It's his birthday, as you guys all know by now. We'll see you in a little bit.
See ya.